Edgerrin Cooper, 85.7, dog. Xavier McKinney, 84.7, dog. Zane Anderson, 80. I'm excited. That's the other thing, too. Some people see Zane Anderson as the backup safety, which means Javon Bullard would be the fourth option unless they want to do it strictly by deployment, one play spur, the other play free, that type of thing.
And we're forgetting about Keaton Holm Depot.
72.9 right here on the list, man.
Yeah.
So, again, if we just focus on the safety position, let's do that. You got Xavier McKinney, 84, Zane Anderson, 80, Keaton Oladapo, 72, Evan Williams, 72. And then the next safety, you got to go down. Actually, it was Omar Brown, but that's minimal snaps with a 62. Minimal. We can't count that, right? But you got to go pretty damn far down, man. Javon Bullard, 54, PFF grade.
And even though, as much as that sucks, right? Seeing Javon Bullard down there, we just mentioned how rookie, it's different being an offensive lineman, but a rookie offensive lineman, if they're in the 60s, you're like, all right, he's got something. Look at how many rookies we had last year that were above 70. Like that. That's exciting. And just even, is it a product of, hey, look at even guys like Tyron Hopper had a 60.7, he didn't get a lot of playing time or anything like that. But I look at that as, man, if these dudes, like if Evan, if Cooper, if a few other guys take a giant year 2 step, which I think they could, what if even Javon, if he pulls a year 2 step and it gets up into the 70s, that's insane. That's a lot of progression, right? So I'm not willing to give up on him yet. I'm just struggling to find his niche in this system, barring an injury or some other catastrophic situation.
Mm-hmm. And again, Javon Bullard, the big thing about him, 816 snaps. 816 snaps to Evan Williams only had 533. So you got to take that into consideration too, right? And the other thing is, again, we say this all the time, PFF isn't everything, right? So, you take this with a grain of salt, but if you look at other statistics, and it'll probably take me a second to pull it up, although I really want to do it. I want to see where Javon Bullard ranked on the team in passer rating when targeted. This is another stat that I really like to key in on. Let me go to Packers roster stats. I won't put it on the screen just yet. We might do it here in a second. If we show all the players, passer rating when targeted, where did he rank at? Where are you at, sir? He might have been higher than we thought. Nah, where are you at, Javon Bullard? That's interesting. He's not even – I don't even see him on the list unless I'm overlooking him here. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he is at the bottom. Jeez, Pete. Second from the bottom. Put this into perspective. 124.5 was the passer rating when he was targeted. No matter what position he played. Somebody in here said about moving him around in the position. What does that mean? Who was that? I'm trying to think. Seen it up here. I think it was Soder. Yeah, they bounced Bullard around between slot and safety. So what does that grade mean? Forget the grade for a second. When he was targeted on the field, all right? And again, I'm not trying to pile on to Javon Bullard, but if you see it, you got to say it. When he was targeted, his passer rating was 124.5 when they targeted him. Jacob, right below him was Kenny Clark at a 140.5. So there was only 2 players that had a worse passer rating when targeted on the team last year than Javon Bullard. One was our nose tackle, our one tech in the nickel 4-2-5, and Kenny Clark, and the other was Corey Ballantyne, who is no longer on the roster. So, take that however you'd like. Now, if we looked at Keaton Oladapo, granted, not near as many reps. He only played 64 snaps, but his was a 39.6. Xavier McKinney, 59.0. Evan Williams, when targeted, Jacob, 67.5, man.
Wow.
So that's what I mean by PFF isn't everything. Look at everything. Look at every angle, right? And don't just get sucked into the, okay, PFF is explaining what I want to explain here, so that's what we're going to use. No, don't look at it that way. You gotta try to look at the whole picture. Think big picture. It's very, very important in this regard, or else you're just cherry picking stats to meet your argument. Here it is right here in this ranking. Passer rating when targeted. This is all positions. This isn't just DB. So, take it however you'd like. But there's Keaton Oladapo, if you can see my cursor, 39.6. Edgerrin Cooper, 57.
Brenton Cox is a 0. Just saying that.
Let's see how many coverage. Does it show his coverage snaps? It does not, does it? Nah, it don't show his coverage snaps, but overall snaps, obviously. And listen, he did drop into coverage. He kind of did what Iningbare did from time to time when we call that 55 drop. What's his number? 57. So we would call it 57 drop. Sounds like a nice whiskey or something, doesn't it? Down here in the great state of Tennessee. But Edgerrin Cooper, dog, 57.1. Xavier McKinney, 59. Evan Williams, again, 67.5. Point there was, Carrington, I'm telling you, is way underrated. That's why I'm not freaking out if Jair Alexander isn't a Packer. Like, you go and look at how he played last year. If it was the year before, I'd go, whoa, we at all costs bring back Jair. But I seen enough of Carrington last year that I went, I don't know, man. This dude plays schematically sound. The knock on Jair Alexander is he'll improvise, man. He'll say the pick 6 in Tennessee, he was not supposed to jump that route. I'm just telling you right now. I seen it from the stands, seen it on the tape later. He was not supposed to jump that route. It worked out. Another example was the Philadelphia game week 1. He got an interception there. He broke off his coverage there. Luckily, it worked out. I guarantee you, even though he got the interception in the end zone, they probably gave him a -2 grade in the meeting, right? That stuff's important. Now, another example in that very same game in week 1, him biting on the double move with A.J. Brown rather than playing, technically sound. He got his butt cooked, right, deep for a touchdown because he bit on the double move as opposed to just playing your, your assignment, I guess you could say. So, yeah, Carrington Valentine, nothing to shake a stick at. But I want to point out with Evan Williams, a 72 PFF grade. When you get a 72 PFF grade as a rookie, again, you grade out in the 60s, it's good as a rookie. You grade out in the 70s, that's suggesting something great.
You're grading the 85s.
Yeah, and then oh my God, no doubt. And then you look at the passer rating when targeted at 67.5 for Evan Williams. I would feel way more comfortable with Evan Williams being the starting safety along with Xavier McKinney until he proves otherwise, right? But like Mark Tauser says, the higher you're drafted, the less you have to prove. Like first-round picks have to prove over and over and over they do not belong, as were seventh-round picks, or in this case with Evan Williams, a fourth-round pick, or wherever he was taken. You're constantly having to prove you do belong. Is how
I think he was a fourth.
Was it fourth? That's what I was thinking. So again, Jair Alexander 77.6, not bad. Right. And when you couple that with the PFF grade, he had a pretty solid PFF grade, if I remember correctly. So, but Carrington Valentine, 69. He had a better passer rating when targeted than even Jair Alexander did last year. So, anything else you want to look at in terms of these players that are on the screen right here, Jacob? Anything at all?
No. To me, I keep. Like you mentioned, every time I look at certain stats, certain metrics, Carrington Valentine just pops off the page to me as somebody that does not get enough credit. And kind of like you said, worst case scenario, if Jair isn't in camp, if he's not on the Packers 53 this year, I'm weirdly confident in the fact that Carrington Valentine can at least hold down one of those perimeter cornerback positions.
Yeah. And back to Javon Bullard, Coach Lynn says it's probably better just to keep him. I wonder what their vision was for Bull when they drafted him. I think it's exactly what you've seen in college. If you guys will remember, he played really, really good in the slot the year before he came out. And then the year he came out, he played the safety. And I think they seen that tape and said, this dude can do both and do it at a high level, right? And he just didn't work out for his rookie. And it's just his rookie year. We gotta slow the roll. I got you. But I'm saying I could give a rat's ass where they're drafted. I want the best 11 on the field. Mm-hmm. That's just how I see it. And that's just like with Jair Alexander. I'm not saying Carrington Valentine is better than Jair Alexander. You'd have to be a moron to truly believe that based off of what we've seen up to this point. However, if you could convince me Carrington's better than Jair, I don't care about the name. I don't care about the superstar status. Give me the best 11 on the field. That's what I'm wanting. So, yeah. All right. Anything else, Jacob, on that?
No, sure.
All right. Let's. I'm going to slide this over. That way we can maybe use it again here in a second if we have to go back to NFL Pro, so I don't have to close it back out. Now, another player that kind of popped up here in terms of PFF and some of the tweets they've been – I love these tweets, too, that when they throw this stuff out, just to kind of put into perspective how the national media is seeing some of these guys. They put out a tweet, the top 10 offensive tackles in the NFL today. Number 1, Jordan Mailata. Number 2, Tristan Wirfs. Number 3, Rashawn Slater. 4, Trent Williams. 5, Lane Johnson. 6, Penei Sewell. 7, Christian Darrisaw. 8, Laramie Tunzel. 9, Zach Tom with the Green Bay Packers. So I know, I think it was Steno that recently said that there's open competition at right tackle. Me not buying that at all. I ain't buying that at all. Zach Tom is the right tackle unless they want him to play somewhere else. The fact that he's continuing to get noticed nationwide tells me that Zach Tom is due for a payday, and I really, really hope they don't try to buck too hard on this, man, because the longer you wait, we learned this with Jordan Love's contract, right? They held off on giving him the contract, and then it carried into training camp, and lo and behold, 1 or 2 quarterbacks, one specifically Jared Goff, gets his deal done. Well, guess what? The number just went up, right? If they try to play hardball with Zach Tom and not get that deal done sooner rather than later, don't be surprised if a couple more tackles get a deal before training camp, and all of a sudden that number goes up on Zach Tom a little bit more. Not to say that he should get paid top 3 tackle money, but every time a tackle gets paid and that bar gets raised, Jacob, it's going to cost you more money, man. It's just like that credit card. Pay that sucker off, because the longer you wait, it's just getting more and more expensive.
That's true. And plus, you got to look at just the age of, I mean, like, obviously you look at guys like Trent Williams, Laramie Tunzel, they're at the back half of their career, right? When you got a guy that's as young and as good as Zach Tom, you want to make sure you just get that contract done. Like you said, don't wait it out. Don't give him an opportunity to, don't get the player upset. Don't get the agent upset. Don't get there be bad blood between the organization and the player, organization between the agent. Let's just get it done. Like you said, the quicker the better. Even maybe, would that be a situation where Goot tries to extend him a little earlier than normal? Don't wait till an off season. Maybe do it while we're in season, get a little bit of a discount there, and just say, hey man, we want you on this team. You want to be the staple of this offensive line. Let's get something done quick. Let's help, put a little, pat each other on the back a little bit and see if we can get it, not stretched out.
It's what Chris is saying here, man. Goot already waited too long to extend Zach Tom. It's the last year of his deal. Yeah. So if you were going to get a little bit of a discount, that was going to come as soon as the season ended. Yeah. That's where I'm already like, this is feeling like the Jordan Love contract again. And you guys know how I feel. The market is the market. You either want the player or you don't. I wanted Jordan Love extended. I'm not dogging him on that. I just wished he would have went a little earlier, because you could have saved yourself some money. The longer you wait, that price is going to continue to go up. And I remember,
wasn't there like 3 quarterback contracts that ended up getting signed in the time that we were waiting, and each one of them kept jumping.
Yeah. The one that sticks out to me was Jared Goff. As soon as Jared Goff got his deal, I was like, son of a, can we please get this finished already? Because the price keeps going up. And that's the thing. Like, maybe they're looking at Zach Tom, and I'm not trying to be, rude here or anything. Zach Tom comes across as a level-headed, nice team first type of guy. Maybe they're looking to try to, hey, let's see what we can, you know what I mean? That's
for granted.
The other thing too is, like, people talk about how he didn't perform, he didn't play his best football down the stretch because he struggled there against Philly. Hell, everybody struggled against Philly's front.
They won the Super Bowl.
Right. I want to say this too. The thing that those people don't mention very often, Jacob, is the fact that Zach Tom played coming off of that torn pec, right? Now, keep this in mind. He tore his pec and bounced back from it, just like Tucker Kraft did. If I remember correctly, it was Tucker Kraft that tore his pec along with Matt LaFleur as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, and LaFleur.
Battling that injury, Zach Tom still had an 85.8 PFF grade. Now, when you go to Zach Tom's page here, this is what I want to point out. While battling an injury, a torn pec, playing basically, as Tauscher talked about, kind of playing with one arm, essentially, most of the year. With that, his grades went from 68 his rookie year, another example of telling you, man, that 60s grade, 65 plus especially, is an indicator a rookie is going to be really, really good. Here's another example of it. 2023 jumps to a 79, tears his pec in training camp, and then lo and behold, ends up having an 85.8 for a PFF grade for the 2024 season. Pay that man his monies. Pay him yesterday. I don't know why we got to wait on that. That's one thing that I'm it's starting to really starting to bother me. It is. So let's see here. Greg Rice says, I will ask one more time. Do we know Tom or his agent do not want to wait to get more money? Greg, I can't think of a scenario, and if you find one, name it off, where a player going into the last year of their contract, especially a fourth-round pick who's gotten paid pennies on the dollar, they go, no, let's just wait till the end of the year. I want to get more money. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but name the player, because they are usually chomping at the bit to get security. Because here's, if you don't approach it that, and that's not a knock on Tom, Greg, if you don't approach it that way and he gets hurt, you just lost possibly tens of millions of dollars. If he goes and tears his ACL, he's screwed, right? He's got to now prove in the offseason, and next year, probably wouldn't be till next year until he could prove it, that, hey, I'm good to go, I'm healthy. So, yeah, I would push back pretty hard on that, Greg, that, I don't think he and his agent are going, no, don't take no deal. Let's try to play this year out. I don't think that would be the way to roll there. So Randy Steen with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, did anyone see the article about Roseman pushing so much money out to 2029? I believe because he knows the new CBA is going to explode the cap. That's been a conversation that's been going on for a couple of years now, because there's a bunch of TV money and stuff that's going to hit. But also, Philly is getting really aggressive with pushing the money out with avoidable years and everything. So much so that the league is now looking up and going, hey, guys, this is getting out of control. Let's start to rein this in. I think they're going to try to do a rule change. I don't know if they'll get it passed or how soon they're going to try to do it. But he's talking about, I think, is it Howie Roseman? Am I thinking right? I don't know if that's how you spell his last name or not, but that's the general manager for the Eagles. People are asking who that is. So they're starting to bend, I don't want to say bend the rules, but they're getting really aggressive with it, and I think owners are starting to look up and go, hey, guys, let's calm down here. Let's try to bring this in. So they're probably going to try to do some kind of rule change, rule adjustment to prevent that from happening. But, I don't think it so much applies here to the Zach Tom conversation. But you're right, though, Randy. Thank you for the super chat. And that is a real thing that's going on right now. So appreciate you bringing that up, because, it does come into factor contractually. But, just something to keep an eye on. I personally wish they would do away with it. Because it is kind of, it's just phony money, fake money there that you're, essentially tacking on those voidable years. I guess there's a little bit extra added strategy, but to me, man, the salary cap's hard enough to understand as it is. Why try to make it even more, and I don't know. I can't imagine all 31 owners are excited about, hey, let's just set these up to where we're going to be giving money away on the backside if a player's not with us, as opposed to let's just pay them as we go type thing. So, yeah. All right. Everybody commenting on the yawns over there, Jacob. They said the beard needs Red Bull, man.
Bro, I'm struggling. I got up real early today.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I learned I got scolded a long time ago about yawning in a business conference, business meeting, that type of thing. I don't see it as this. I never seen it as disrespectful. But a guy told me one time, he said, if you ever have to speak in front of a crowd and you have someone yawn in your face, he said, it is the worst feeling in the world. And I rolled my eyes until I was on a stage talking to, I don't know, about 200 entrepreneurs, and somebody yawned, and I went, oh, yeah, that does hurt. That sucks. They might as well hold up a sign and go, you're boring the hell out of me. You suck. I know you don't mean that, Jacob. But that's why you never see me yawn on the camera, because I heard it said like at one time, and I'm like, yeah, that I'm never going to do that to anybody ever again. So.
I can't help it. If it's coming, I can't not do it. But
that's, you got to say, we always made jokes about it in the meeting, and you would catch somebody swallowing a yawn is what we called it. But oh, look at my man over there, look, he's fighting it, and he'd be going. So anyway. All right. Anything else on the Zach Tom conversation there, man? No. Again, dude's a dog. Pay him his damn money. That's what I see.
Agreed.
All right. Let's move it along to the next topic here real quick. And if you guys haven't noticed, we're just kind of going rapid fire tonight, stuff that came down the pike. Rob Westerman, a good buddy over at GVP Daily, put this out. I want to get your take on it. I thought it was kind of cool. And I know there's some fans that are going, we play for Super Bowls. Nobody cares about the regular season. Okay. Until you win 3 games in a regular season 3 years in a row, and all of a sudden it's an issue. But he pointed out NFL regular season wins since 2000. Patriots lead the way with 270. Steelers are in second place with 255. Third place, Green Bay Packers with 251. Can we just take a second, Jake, and appreciate the fact that the Packers almost every single year were competing. What else can you ask for in a fan base to know that there's like a 90% chance that the Packers are going to be in the hunt to go to the playoffs and compete for a championship? I'm one of those fans that side on I would rather have a team that's consistently good rather than trading 9 years of mediocrity for 1 Super Bowl. I would rather us have, 15 years, have to wait 15 years for a Super Bowl, but have 15 years of success. I don't know, man. That makes for a miserable fan base when you're consistently bad in the regular season. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And it is a little bit surprising there. You think about the dynasty that has been the Patriots with the Tom Brady era, all that. I would even argue the dynasty at the Steelers with the Mike Tomlin era, where very rare that dude doesn't win at least 8 games and he's going to the playoffs. What they do when they get there is another question. And then you've got yourself, obviously, the Green Bay Packers, which consistently, like Clay said, every year we're on the hunt. I mean, it's very, very rare that if we have an off year, and it's typically that we don't wallow around and let that be the reality for more than a season or 2 at the very most. And we seem to usually pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and knock off the dust, the whole thing there. The Ravens, great team. Same with the Eagles in that stretch. What's surprising is you don't see the Chiefs on that list, right? So even some of the quote unquote powerhouses that haven't been doing it as long and as consistently as the Green Bay Packers have done it. I'd even imagine if we stretched that back to 1990, where we'd be on this list. It'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be really, really interesting because you just have a handful of years. I think of 2005 losing record. I think of, what was it, 1999 or maybe 2000, when trying to think, was it Ray Rhodes was the head coach?
Ray Rhodes was like, 6 wins or something like that? Maybe?
Yeah, I think it might have been 6 wins. I'm trying to remember. So yeah, man,
other than that, dude, because it wasn't 90, it was 96, 97, 98. I thought we killed it.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. H.E. Soder said 8-8. I was thinking it was a 500 record.
Such a horrible season, 8-8.
Right.
Good Lord.
But again, man, I definitely. That's what I want to ask people in the chat. Let me know what you think here. Would you rather have to wait? Would you rather? And I don't want to be too extreme with it. Would you rather have 7 losing seasons, but win a Super Bowl, right? Or have literally 13 winning seasons, but have to wait 13 years to win the Super Bowl? Which would you rather have? I know that's kind of probably did not ask that the most intelligent way, but for me, I would be miserable for those 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just literally below 500 football. Then all of a sudden you win a Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, we did it. Right. And then it's back to 7 years of just getting your ass kicked. I don't know, man. That would be, I would side with the winning seasons, I believe, man. Let's see here. Yeah, Bates says 13. I'm with you there, Bates. Chris the Casual Win, 13 winning seasons. Looks like everybody in the chat agrees. And again, there's no wrong answer. I don't know, man. That's kind of what we've been with. There it is, Jacob. Good job, dude. Good job. You can always kill the camera and act like you're balancing your checkbook or something. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's let's see here. H.E. Soder says, don't care. I love good Packers football and I love bad Packers football. Soder, telling me you be in here if we had 3-win season going, boy, I love Packers football. I don't know, man. I've been kind of dubbed the positive Packers fan, and I to this so much so that when the team struggles, people come at me and they bash the hell out of me like, you're all sunshine and rainbows and you need to tell the truth and this and that. But man, it'd be hard for me to. If we were a 3-win team, I'd be miserable, Jacob. I'd be in here faking yawns. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
Since we're kind of on this topic, let's hell yes, I would be, is what he said. I don't know what that means because I gave 2 different scenarios. The answer is yes. All right, got it. This kind of goes hand in hand with this talking about winning seasons. This popped up on the Patreon group. I understand this is going to tick some people off, but I think it's a conversation worth having. I see you perked up, Jacob. As soon as I said somebody's going to be pissed, you perked up big time. Nick McSwain in our Patreon group. And again, if you guys want to be a part of our community over there, it's the best way to support what we do here at Packers Total Access. Just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access or scan the QR code in the upper right. $3 tier get you access to everything on the site, as well as giveaways. We're going to be doing a giveaway this Saturday, an autographed Kingsley and Igbare rookie card that was donated by our good friend Rick Kruger. This awesome piece of memorabilia here. It actually says Rookie Ticket is the name of the card here, and it's done by Contenders Optic. Really, really cool piece of memorabilia, autographed rookie card from Kingsley and Igbare. But again, anybody who's a member of the $3 tier, we put everybody on the wheel just like we're doing for the other giveaway. It's just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel. And the best way to support us is just join our Patreon community. Get a lot of extra content in there as well. Jacob, here's what Nick McSwain said. I want to get your take on it. Saw this on Reddit and thought it was interesting. This is 2000 to 2020, so it misses the 2021 season, but you also miss 2022 for Tom. Talking about Tom Brady, which is one of his worst ever games, etc. I don't have updated numbers, but this tells a damning story on Green Bay's efforts on the other sides of the ball. I think you guys probably know where I stand here, but here's what it's saying. Offensive EPA game playoffs, okay? Rodgers, plus 8.6 compared to Brady's plus 6.7, Breeze plus 6.6, Phillip Rivers plus 3.8, Peyton, I'm guessing he's saying Peyton Manning, plus 3.1. Just showing how good Rodgers has been, right? Now look at the defense/special teams EPA per playoff games. Rodgers' team, negative 7.1. Brady, negative 0.3. So just right there at the balance mark, right? The even mark. Breeze, negative 5.3. Rivers, negative 4.2. Peyton Manning, negative 2.2. I know people like to bash Rodgers. The Rodgers haters will bash him for whatever reason they can find. But most of the time it's the argument, well, he can't win the big one. He can't win the big one. This stat right here, I knew it would be bad. But man, oh man, this is rough to look at. Again, Rodgers in the playoffs, plus 8.6 EPA. But again, the defense/special teams EPA per game in the playoffs, negative 7.1. Does that surprise you? Do you think this is a big nothing burger? What do you think about that, man?
It doesn't surprise me. I don't think it's a nothing burger for sure. I think it does lead some credence to certain arguments about Rodgers that doesn't quite make sense. Like, to me, the biggest one is that we never gave the guy a good defense, and I think that's a fair assessment. The one that I hate is when they say, if we would have given Rodgers a first-round wide receiver, he was great with the wide receivers we gave him. Look at these metrics. It's not like you can't tell me that, if we would have just had a first-round wide receiver, Rodgers would have been at 18.6 plus EPA. Like, no, he's already absolutely crushing it with the weapons and with the talent that we put around him. It's the fact that the defense could not, for how good Rodgers was, the defense just absolutely, it was a one step forward, two steps back situation with that defense. It really was.
Special teams too, man.
Special teams too. And it was always seemed to be situationally too, like in the worst moments and in a time where it's like, you just can't give up a long drive here. What do? They give up a long drive. You can't give up a penalty here. What do? They give a penalty. You can't let the team score here. What do? Let them walk right in. Right. And it was Rodgers. I hate saying that he's not Superman or that he had to be Superman. He did have to be Superman, and he was Superman squared in some games. But you can't win it on one side of the ball consistently. There's three parts of offense, defense, and special teams. He can't do everything just being the Superman that he was. So for that, I'm always going to have a soft spot for Rodgers. Do I like some of the drama and some of the way that the end of his career
absolutely not
went into? Right. No, I would totally have handled a lot of things different, lots of press conferences different, lots of quotes to the media different, a whole bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm happy he was a Packer, and I think that he left it all out there for the Packers squad. And that if anything, I would argue the Packers organization should have tried to put a better defense year in and year out around that guy. Because we'll never see another arm talent like that, I don't think, in a long time, if ever.
Yeah, I feel comfortable saying he had the most arm talent of any quarterback in the history of the game. And, this is kind of the knock that some fan bases throw on Green Bay. on our fan bases. Man, y'all only won, one Super Bowl with two Super Bowls with two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. As much as I don't engage with that conversation on social media, there is a little bit of a point there, but hell, at least we did win a ring with each of them, right? It could have been worse. David Thorpe says Rodgers could have easily won another 2 Super Bowls with the defense we have now. He had to close with Barry, poor guy. And I'll take it a step further, David. You guys know how I felt about Joe Barry. I didn't think Joe Barry was near as bad as most people did. And I'll tell you what confirmed it for me 1 year after. If it was Joe Barry's fault, then why did they go out and completely revamp the safety room, right? I mean, they went and signed Xavier McKinney, and then you ended up drafting Edgerrin Cooper. If you had Xavier McKinney
and Williams and Oladapo,
right? If you had all those guys on the Joe Barry defense, it probably wouldn't have been as good as Hafley, but it would have been a lot better. I know he's looking up, going, "Hold up a minute, y'all made me coach this team with Darnell Savage and Jonathan Owens as my starting safeties, and then the first year I'm gone, you went and signed Xavier McKinney." He was pissed. Not that he wasn't available the year before, right? We know that. But it is everything kind of comes into perspective. There was another comment here. Greg Rice said, didn't we have a good D for the Super Bowl win? We did, and that's kind of the argument.
We had the number one defense, didn't we?
Yeah, right. You gave him a number one defense in the league, and he won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So I can understand both sides of the argument there. And again, this isn't to say that Rodgers was perfect, but I just hate how the fan base was split. And it's like that San Francisco game in the snow in Green Bay. How many fans were like, Rodgers crapped the bed. You got to score more points than that, right? And then the interception at the end of the game. Yeah, he threw the interception at the end of the game, but we conveniently don't even talk about the block punt that got returned for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And I look at that game and I felt like he played the right game plan because it was snow, it was cold, it was windy. It was, hey, we've got the lead. Let's just make sure we don't give this thing away. And then lo and behold, personal protector, PP. I'm trying to think of who the PP was.
I was trying to remember too. I can't.
Zane wasn't on the roster then, right?
No.
It was somebody that was kind of dubbed as one of Rich Bisaccia's guys, but it wasn't actually a Rich Bisaccia guy. Who was that, guys? Who was the safety we had on the team that was a personal protector for – A-Fam was a PP. Who was the personal protector that allowed that block punt that year? I'm trying to think who it was. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I just had it and I lost it.
Yeah. It wasn't Zane Anderson, but it was a similar type. I want to say it was a white dude too. I could be wrong. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm waiting for the chat. I don't think they're going to be able to. Was it Zane? Was it Zane? Really? It would have been the year that we lost to the 49ers in the snow at Lambeau. Was that 2020, Jacob? Am I thinking right? NFC champion or not NFC championship, but yeah, maybe. No, it was a divisional round.
20. God, I can't remember now.
It wasn't Amo. Definitely wasn't Amo. Dallin Levitt. There it is. Bang.
Dallin Levitt. That's it.
Good job, Daves. Congratulations, Daves. You won. Guess what your prize is, brother? Absolutely nothing. All right. Thank you so much. It was Dallin Levitt. That was the guy that was the personal protector that gave up that block punt. I'm not even saying, look, it's all on him, but it was just tough to see the fan base. And this is the perfect example of when a game falls apart in the heat of the moment, the fans want to rush to, it's this guy's fault. Remember the old Simpsons meme where they got the pitchforks walking through the town? It's, you got to find one guy and it's his fault. And some people said it was Rodgers for being too conservative that game. Other people tried to blame the special team coordinator. Some people were trying to blame the punter. And I was like, I don't know how you can blame it on the punter. I mean, all you can do is try to kick the freaking football. So, yeah.
How about, remember, I can't remember what, I think it was the 49 or one of the 49ers playoff losses. Aaron Ripkowski randomly fumbles, gets the ball. He made like a great play, got the first down, just didn't secure the ball, gets it knocked out. Like there's been so many times like you could go back to, dude, Seattle, the Fail Mary. Are you kidding me? You're going to blame that on Rodgers? Like there's so many different weird things that happened.
The playoff game in Seattle where we should have smoked them.
That's what I'm saying.
Rodgers threw an interception in that game. Don't get me wrong. But the amount of stuff that went wrong down the stretch there, the onside,
the rent of freaking cop. That's when they had the fill-in refs.
Right. Yeah. No. Not that playoff game. Now you're talking about the Phil Mary. That was a regular season game.
Right? Yeah.
I love how you said the rent-a-cop. Well, you have never used that line before, have you?
Nope.
The rent-a-refs is what he meant.
Yeah, rent-a-refs.
But yeah, they that game too. They ran a fake field goal too. Remember that? They ran a fake field goal and threw a touchdown pass. Like everything fell apart. So I agree with what Jay's saying here too, and it's a perfect example, right, Jay? Like Rodgers didn't play well in the Seahawks playoff game either. I remember he threw that interception, I think, in the end zone or at least on their side of the field. So that's all I try to do is like, hey, let's talk about let's tell the whole story. Let's don't just say, okay, I'm going to put this loss on this one guy or this one coach, that type of thing. So, yeah, Timu refs, whatever was says. Love it. Yeah, H.E. Soder says, please don't say Bostic. It was him. And listen, Bostic caught hate for that, and it's sad that one play kind of is what people remember a player for. Bostic's still a huge Packer fan, comes back to Lambeau from time to time. I try not to be that fan that holds that, hey, let's try to make him miserable when he's around. But anyway, I'm not surprised by this stat here, Jacob, that we just covered. But it is I didn't expect it to be that, Rodgers' EPA, expected points added, to be so much higher than Brady, Breeze, Rivers, and Peyton. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty and of course the biggest, you're talking about what kind of a swing there. Let's look at it just real quick. Just for easy math,
you can ball out completely and the defense almost completely wipes away all the advantage that he has. It's
you're looking at like what would the swing be there? The 1.9 difference between him and Brady. And then when you go to the defensive side, you're looking at a 6-point win. You're looking at a 7-point swing.
That's crazy.
In EPA. That's insane. And again, that's not to take away from Brady. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. But man, oh man, did he have some help. He had a lot of help. Not every year, but most of the time. Bill Belichick did one hell of a job. That's why I cringe when people say, it was all Brady and not Belichick. It was both of them. It was Belichick early in their run in that dynasty, the first few Super Bowls, and then it was Brady on the backside carrying the water. So, yeah. All right, let's take a look at the leaderboard real quick. I'm not going to be able to put it on screen, but I want to give everybody an update who's leading the community leaderboard here in YouTube. I love this new feature, Jacob. Leading the way is H.E. Solder. 2-0 for this. Greg Rice, United Bates, Dave's MX6, Daryl, Chris the Casual in, Clint. They all are tied at 150 XP. Y'all are crushing it tonight, man. So appreciate y'all in the YouTube chat. It's a really, really cool thing that they added there. I'm going to continue to highlight people for that. So, all right, next thing, and then we'll wrap up just real quick. This will just be a real quick conversation here. And again, shout out to Rob Westerman throwing that tweet out there. I thought that was pretty fascinating. We had a little bit of news, Jacob. Remember the other night people were talking about a receiver we signed, and I was like, I don't like to cover these players because, it's like we don't know how long they're going to be here, whatnot. And it was, people were getting excited. Oh, Jaden,
my boy Janky went?
Yeah, Janky gone, man. It says the Packers have waived Janky. Is that how you say his name? Because I feel like we're disrespecting.
I thought it was Janky. I don't know.
I'm going to say Jonk, just because I feel bad calling someone Janky. They have waived him less than a month after they signed him. The Packers are signing wide receiver. That was when they signed him anyway. But they said is it Yankee, really?
That's what Dave says there.
Everybody else, right? There you go. Soder says it too, Yankee. Or is it Yankee? Or is it Janky? See, this is what I'm talking about.
See, I don't.
Unbelievable, man. This chat is off the rails. But I think they said there's an injury settlement. It got updated later, I believe. You guys double check that on your own. But nonetheless, I know some people were excited about that signing, and it sounds like he's no longer going to be a Green Bay Packer per Rob Domofsky there. So just want to give you guys that. Yeah, there you go. Dave says via the Packers website. That's how you pronounce the name. Not that it matters. We'll never say it again, right? So there you go. Yeah, that was the kid, I believe, from South Dakota State there, Coach, if I remember correctly. So what are you doing in there, Jacob?
I'm just getting my HP up, dude. I got to get it like at least
XP, when you find a computer, it's XP. Get it right, Jacob. Jesus.
Oops, my bad.
Look at this guy in here. Yeah, I'm gonna look what I'm gonna. Oh, it won't let me.
You gonna boot me?
I ain't gonna boot you, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna put you in timeout.
I'm up to 75 XP, guys. I don't know.
Now you're
man.
in timeout. How about that, buddy?
Son of a
the old block.
Dang,
all right,
dude.
Anything else, man? Anything else at all?
No, that should be it. I think tomorrow we might have the full house. We'll get the other two knuckleheads in here and see what maybe they have to say about certain situations. But yeah, I thought we covered quite a bit tonight, actually.
It was fun, man. It was a nice change of pace. We've been covering topics a little bit longer here lately, but tonight we went kind of rapid fire, so it's good to kind of walk through the news. Tomorrow, OTAs open to the media, so we're going to see some footballs flying around tomorrow, baby. We're going to get some updates. Will Elton Jenkins be there? Will Jair be there, Jacob? That's the big question, right? Maybe, who knows? Maybe we will. We'll see Marshawn Lloyd out there finally, right? Maybe they've just been a little hesitant on that. We'll see how
That'd be a pleasant surprise, I tell you what.
Yeah. Two Over This says, where's Carly been? I haven't heard from Carly in a while, Two Over This. Hopefully everything's okay there. We miss her too. She's awesome.
She got eaten by her falcon.
Man, that falcon was awesome.
That was cool.
Carly is super mom too, man. So I'm sure as the weather warms up, she's probably got a lot going on with the kiddos and all that, right? What, Jacob? What's your problem?
All my XP went away, Clay. You took away all my XP.
This is not a democracy. This is the United States of Clayton Bailey tonight, all right, buddy? You forget who runs this show, Jacob. You're not going to get in here and cheat the system, all right?
I just tried to get says you've been placed on timeout by the owner and administrator.
Straighten up and you might get back in there, okay?
Son of a.
Yeah. And it looks like everybody's still tied at 150 XP, man. Y'all did good tonight. We actually got 9 tied at 150 XP. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us this evening. And I want to give a special shout out to Randy Steen for the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. And thanks for bringing up that topic as well. I do think that'll be a conversation piece moving forward. Jacob, appreciate your time, pal.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Again, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We'll see you guys and gals tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live and OTA updates. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Don't get banned from the chat like Jacob. Go Pack.
Here we go. We're out. Bye, guys.